all of you. One of the best investments we can make in a child's life is high quality early education. A very thoughtful quote by the former President of the United States of America, Mr. Barack Obama. Early years are foundational years for any child's life. With the National Education Policy (NEP) and the National Curricular Framework for Foundational Stage (NCFFS), emphasizing the importance of early childhood care and education (ECCE), it is more critical than ever to discuss the challenges and opportunities faced by Anganwadi workers in delivering quality education and care to children. And today is the opportunity to do that. With great pleasure and honor, I welcome all of you to this much awaited symposium on reimagining the role of Anganwadi worker in the context of NEP, organized by Prajayatna in collaboration with the Department of Women and Child Development Karnataka and H.D. Parekh Foundation.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಮಗುವಿನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾದ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಎಂದರೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ. ಇದೊಂದು ಅಮೆರಿಕ ದೇಶದ ಮಾಜಿ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಶ್ರೀ ಬರಾಕ್ ಒಬಾಮಾ ಅವರ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಚಿಂತನಾಶೀಲ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ. ಮಾನವನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳು ವರ್ಷಗಳು ಅಡಿಪಾಯದ ವರ್ಷಗಳಾಗಿವೆ. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ NEP ಮತ್ತು ಬುನಾದಿ ಹಂತದ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಪಠ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಚೌಕಟ್ಟು NCFFS ಕೂಡ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ಆರೈಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಒತ್ತಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತವೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಆರೈಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನೀಡುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತೆಯರು ಎದುರಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನು ಚರ್ಚಿಸುವುದು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂದಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ನಿರ್ಣಾಯಕವಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಂದು ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಅವಕಾಶ ಒದಗಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಜಾಯತ್ನವು ಮಹಿಳಾ ಮತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹಾಗೂ H.D. Parekh ಪ್ರತಿಷ್ಠಾನದ ಸಹಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿರುವ NEPಯ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತೆಯ ಪಾತ್ರವನ್ನು ಮರುರೂಪಿಸುವುದು ಎಂಬ ವಿಷಯ ಕುರಿತ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆದರದ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
I would like to call on stage Ms. Jayanti, an Anganwadi worker of Vinayak Nagara Anganwadi Center, Abhigere Circle of Yelahanka Project, Bengaluru, to start off this symposium with a prayer.
ವಿನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ವಿನಾ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕು ವಿನಾಯಕ ನೀನು ವಿನಾ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕು ವೇರವರುರ ವಿಘ್ನರಾಜ ವಿನಾಯಕ.
Thank you, Ms. Jayanti, for your heartwarming performance. Moving ahead, I would like to extend a warm welcome on the behalf of Prajayatna to the chief guests of this event. State Project Director of Samagra Shikshana, Government of Karnataka, Ms. Kaveri. Secretary of Food and Civil Supplies, Government of Karnataka, Dr. Reju. Ms. Kaveri, as SPD, has been key to the implementation of the Kalika Chetarike program in Karnataka state, an ambitious learning program launched by the Education Department to fill the learning gap of the children that occurred during the pandemic. Dr. Reju was named as the ECCE Nodal Officer by the Government of Karnataka, and he has been instrumental in putting together the Karnataka curricular framework for the foundational stage. Dr. Reju has held several important positions in the Karnataka government, including Secretary of the Department of Women and Child Development. He was the SPD in the Education Department, during which time a lot of innovative programs were initiated, including the preschools in the Karnataka public schools. Please join me in inviting the chief guests to the stage, Ms. Kaveri and Dr. Reju.
ಮುನ್ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಈಗ ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಸೋಣ. ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಕಾವೇರಿ, ಸಮಗ್ರ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಯೋಜನಾ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ MT ರೇಜು, ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಆಹಾರ ಮತ್ತು ನಾಗರಿಕ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಕಾವೇರಿಯವರು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಸಮಗ್ರ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಯೋಜನಾ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕಿಯಾಗಿ ಸೇವೆ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು ಹಿಂದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಮುನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ಅನೇಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳ ಪೈಕಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿದ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಅಂತರವನ್ನು ತುಂಬಲು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲಾಖೆಯು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದ ಮಹತ್ವಾಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆಯ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವಾದ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಇವರು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಟಿ ರೇಜು, ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಆಹಾರ ಮತ್ತು ನಾಗರಿಕ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಇವರನ್ನು ECCE ನೋಡಲ್ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಎಂದು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಗುರುತಿಸಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರು ಬುನಾದಿ ಹಂತದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಪಠ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಚೌಕಟ್ಟನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರೇಜು ಅವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಮತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲಾಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಯೋಜನಾ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾಗಿದ್ದ ಅವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ವಿನೂತನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದರು.
We'll now have the lighting of the lamp. Have the introduction of the symposium by Mrs. Mary Punos, the Chief Functionary of Prajayatna.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you here for the symposium, Reimagining the Role of the Anganwadi Worker in the Context of NEP. I know it is a difficult time. It is the end of the year, financial year. Code of conduct is coming into place, but still we have everybody coming here and we appreciate that. And it also shows the importance that ECCE has gained over the years, that we have all actually come together to talk about ECCE and the Anganwadi worker as well. We also have some guests from UP, from Uttar Pradesh, who has come all the way. We welcome them as well. And of course our chief guests. To give a brief introduction about Prajayatna, we have been working in the ECCE space for many years now. It has been a long journey. What started off with setting up preschools to combat child labor and stop sibling care and children going to child labor, that has led to this, where we have been working with Anganwadis and with the system for the past many years. We have seen the changes that happens in a child and in the family and in the community from a quality ECCE service. And based on that experience, we have been working with the system to change the way the Anganwadis function and what they deliver. The focus has been on empowering the workers, who we like to call as teachers, and building their capacities to facilitate a child-centered pedagogy that creates learning opportunities for all children. The other focus has been on creating a conducive ecosystem for ECCE by strengthening the communities and the department to redesign early learning processes and improve the way the Anganwadi functions. Prajayatna was one of the few organizations in those days which advocated for the need of the Balvika Samiti and partnered with the WCD to create modules for their training and strengthening them. Apart from training the workers, who we like to call as teachers, we also train the helpers, who we would like to see them as assistant teachers rather than the ayahs that they are all that their role has been assigned to. We have worked with around 1,500 Anganwadis across Karnataka, UP, Telangana and Jharkhand, which has given us an understanding of ECCE across geographies. Prajayatna has been part of the technical committees also from 2013 and then again in 2018, and the most recent committee that was set up in 2022, and which has paved the way for the Karnataka curricular framework, which was released recently on Saturday. So all of us in the sector are extremely happy. We are all very hopeful that something will come out of the NEP and NCF and now the KCF, which has been released. Long overdue, the early childhood care and education has been raised to the top of the national policy agenda, with the recognition that ensuring educational access and attainment must begin in the earliest years of schooling. Therefore, the Anganwadi centers need to rise to the challenge of delivering quality ECCE. Though these proposed changes have the potential to transform early childhood care and education and early learning in India, a lot will depend on how it is going to be implemented, for which in turn the role of the Anganwadi worker becomes extremely important. The aim of this symposium is to discuss the current context by keeping the Anganwadi worker at the center of it, and find ways to reshape and strengthen the Anganwadis and the current system along the lines of the national education policy. There are many in this room who has been part of these discussions, committees in this state and other states as well, other committees as well. Many of you are here. So we hope to bring, and we have our primary stakeholders are Anganwadi workers. A number of them are here from our working area, from our working project, which is Yelahanka at this point. And we have people from the department as well. We have Ms. Usha, Dr. Usha, who just joined us now, the JD of WCD. We hope to bring about a rich discussion among all of us here and together understand the issues and challenges faced and what can be done to make the system more efficient and make our Anganwadis vibrant learning spaces and thereby enable millions of children who attend these centers to get quality early childhood care and education. For this, we need to let our imagination fly, which is the title of our workshop. It's not about redefining itself, we need to reimagine it also. So let's imagine together today. And for this, we would not like to have language as a barrier. I know a lot of English is happening, so that is why we are trying to make it as bilingual as possible. So some Kannada will be mixed in between as well. But please, if anybody wants to ask, and we would like this discussion to be an open space. So if anyone would like to ask any question, any language, please be free. We'll try and get it translated as much as possible. With that, I would now ask our chief guest to come and give their few words.
Thank you, ma'am. The symposium will be an enriching and engaging event that will foster new ideas and collaborations in redefining the role of Anganwadi workers in the current context. In the context of NEP, where we are looking at the integration of the foundational stage of children from 3 to 2 years age group, the need for convergence between the Department of Women and Child Development and Department of Education is important. In this regard, I would like Ms. Kaveri, the State Project Director of Samagra Shikshana, Government of Karnataka, to share her thoughts.
Good morning to all of you. Ellarigu namaskara. Reimagining the role of Anganwadi workers, I think it has a lot of significance. Since October 20th, 2022, the NCF was launched, and then again on March 25th, even the SCF has been launched. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿದಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ECCE ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥದ್ದು ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಕಳೆದ 4-5 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಗತಿನ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂಗನವಾಡೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಮಗೆ ಯೂಶಲಿ ನಾನು CEO ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ರೇಜು ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ಕಟ್ಟಡಗಳನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ICDS ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಿದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ರೇಜು ಸರ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಷನ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದು ಸೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಟ್ಟಡನ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಡ್ರಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇಂಥದ್ದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಹೊರತು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರ್ತಿರೋಂಥ ಅವರ ಏನು ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಜುಕೇಷ್ನಲ್ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಕಳೆದ 4-5 ವರ್ಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್. Women and Child Development Department has also given lot of importance. I think even like-minded organizations like Prajayatna, APF, so many organizations, they have come forward. I think even lot of experts are also here presently in this workshop. I think all of you agree that we have taken great strides, but still challenges are many. So what are these challenges? I think first of all, the requirement of integration between school education as well as Women and Child Development Department. What ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಏನೂ ಕಲಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಶಾಲೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿಯಿಂದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನೂ ಕಲಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಗೇಮ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವೇ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ PO ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಏನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಇವ್ರು ಕಲಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ನ ಅಷ್ಟು ಟಫ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥದ್ದು. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಹೈಯರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆನ್ ದ PU education. So every one of us, we are just looking down. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, we should actually work like a team. That kind of cohesion has to happen, and that is possible only when we start looking down and when we start being together. I think that is where school education department, it has to take a bigger step. I think we already have, all of you are aware that we have co-located Anganwadis. Around maybe around 5,000 to 6,000 Anganwadis are there. Even now these Anganwadis, they function like stand-alone Anganwadis in our schools. Our teachers definitely do not take any interest. So here I think that kind of integration needs to happen. It is not just superfluous integration, it is about what is happening in these Anganwadis, especially in the teaching aspect. I think that kind of hand-holding definitely can be done by our school teachers. This is what we look forward to. And now that the SCF is released, I think definitely now Anganwadi workers, their capacity building has to happen. This is very, very important. I think that is the challenge that we are going to face. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ವೆಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈಡ್ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇದು ನಿಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, SSLC ಇಸ್ ದ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್. ಏನಾದರೂ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದರೂ, ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, SSLCಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೇ ನಾವು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ SSLC ಇಸ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಇನಫ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇವಾಗ ಹೊಸ SCFನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸ್ಪಂದಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಈಗ ಪ್ಲೇ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್, ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಒತ್ತು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರಾ? SCFಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಅಷ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮನದಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಸೋ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಂಜರ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ನ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ದೆ ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ಮು ಆ ಥರದ್ದು ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಓನ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಮುಖಾಂತರನೇ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಸಿದಾಗ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ DSCRT ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಇನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ DSCRTಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ECCE ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಈಗ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಇವಾಗ ರೇಜು ಸರ್ ಅವರನ್ನೇ ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಲ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಸಪ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವಿಮೆನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳನ್ನು ಆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ಅದು 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು ತುಂಬ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಇವೇ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಒಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು 3 to 6 years ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ 7 ವರ್ಷದ ಮತ್ತು 8 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ 6ನೇ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡು ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಇವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂತೂ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದರೆ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಲೋನ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನು ಉಳಿದಂಥದ್ದು ಇದು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಎ some kind of a progression that has to happen. In that regard also we are also working, because always I think school education department has thought that it is the prerogative of school education department to do the curriculum. It can never be. That is, even if first and second standard go ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ we have to involve ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಲಿಕಲಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮನ್ನು ನಾವು 2010ರಿಂದನೇ ನಾವು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇನ್ NCF, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲೇ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಅಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ time. That is from I think Madam Anita Kaul, all of us we remember how she was instrumental in introducing Nalikali. ಸೊ ಈ ನಲಿಕಲಿ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನು ಅದು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿದಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಈವನ್ ಅಂಗನವಾಡಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸೂಪರ್ವೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಕನ್ವರ್ಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಪ್ರೀ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಶಾಲಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಮತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಈ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಲಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ವತಿಯಿಂದನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ನಾವು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಈವನ್ ವಿಮೆನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲೂ ಕಾಣಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಏಕೆಂತಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ಪಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ICDS ಅದೊಂದೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಂಟಿಂಗು, ವೇಸ್ಟಿಂಗು, ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ importance to the foundational level education. I think there has to be a shift in our focus. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬರೀ ನಾವು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಮಹಿಳಾ ಮತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಇಲಾಖೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಒಂದು ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನು ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ಇಂಥದ್ದೇ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು NCF ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, SCF ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆನ ನಾವು ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಚೇಂಜ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಹೋಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ SCF. I think I also look forward to the speech or the keynote speech by Reju sir, because he has worked as SPD in Samagra Shikshana Karnataka. He has also worked as Principal Secretary of Women and Child Development Department, and also he was the nodal officer of ECCE. I think he has done triple acting, that is what I can say. So he is the best person to really address and talk about all the challenges, because even as a nodal officer he has faced lot of challenges. With all those difficulties he has managed to bring out this beautiful document with the support of so many experts. So I take this forum to congratulate sir. Thank you.
Such an insightful speech. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Reju, Secretary of Food and Civil Supplies, Government of Karnataka, and as the ECC Nodal Officer for the keynote address.
Ellarigu namaskara. First a caveat, I am standing before you neither as the Nodal Officer of ECCE rollout nor as a government representative, as somebody who got a chance to work both in education and the women and child department, and incidentally know most of you. That is only qualification probably I may claim. I'm happy that we have a relatively focused subject today, because ECCE is a very, very contested space. Probably if you start discussing the entire nuances of ECCE, probably it will take a lot of time. So probably identifying a much finer defined topics is very important to go forward. So probably this is one of the key subjects. I also know Asim Premji Foundation is planning to have a program again next week on assessment tool. I hope probably we need many more similar discussions with more focused things. Then only probably we need to go ahead. I stay in Jakkur. I commute through Outer Ring Road. Between Manada Tech Park and Hebbal, with a distance of almost 4 kilometers, I see 3 huge billboards in which the photos of the advertisement of achievements in education sector of 2 political leaders is shown there. It is not new in neither in Bangalore nor in Karnataka that the probable candidates or the political leaders campaign on subjects or even in social sectors. But I am happy that Anganwadis, the photos of Anganwadis is increasingly figuring in those billboards. Of course, there are many billboards. Now I see the number of billboards or advertisements where the photos from the social sector, whether it is education, health, social welfare, women and child, they are figuring more in number, and more so Anganwadi. And if you go to Koramangala, I was told that there are huge billboards put up by some of the political leaders there, only with Anganwadi photos. Only with Anganwadi photos. I think it's a huge positive change. At least before the formal finalization of the public opinion before the election, people started canvassing on that also. The political capital or the political interest in those area, it is getting explicitly more important. We could see that in release of Karnataka state curricular framework also for the foundation stage. The who is who of the state was very busy. They were preoccupied with so many other programs and inaugurations. At the same, they also wanted to have this release also. Probably for claiming that, Karnataka is the first state to bring out the draft. But they were very keen. So, in fact, I was sarcastically telling everybody, it had to get clubbed with a kind of a flagging of the toy train, and eventually the flag off happened, or the release of the SCF happened in a railway platform. So, but I feel it was quite important. It was a very small one step, but if it had not happened, probably we would have gone 2-3 steps backward. It would have taken much more effort to start from that particular thing. Even though in government things we can't redo, but if certain things, if it is not happening on a particular point of time, to bring that kind of a consensus again, it would have been very difficult. I am happy that it got released for one more reason. Because this seemingly coming together of both the department, even though I could work in both education and the women and child department, I also realize it is quite challenging. And I should also own up that whatever happened is also at probably the top officers level, in individual level. I don't think it is in the institutional level or in the department level. Thanks to Kaveri, without Kaveri's support, women and child department would not have gone the 15 crore rupees at all. That is the only amount we had to do for all the ECCE rollout this year. Without Anuradha and Dr. Usha's support, both of them had a lot of things to do in the last 60 days. But both of them took a lot of personal interest to push things. That is why we could actually complete this process and actually start the training in the field. So I'm happy, and I know most of the core members, other than the people in the committee, most of the key persons who actually sat together for preparing this, the document is here. I should thank Lata Menon, who painstakingly wrote probably the entire content, Mary, Kinneri, Vaijayanti. A small group probably discussed many of the contentious issues and what are the things to be included in the document. Of course, see, we all expect all the issues will be solved from one particular policy document. I don't know, before releasing the circular, we won't consult anybody or we won't ask anybody. Maybe developing the policy document may be the last point of probably people coming together. So everybody expects, as a officer, I expect every solution will come from the policy document, which now I realize it is not the case. Probably we will have to pick and choose what can be pragmatic, realistic at this point of time, and what should be probably kept silent or probably pushed to the future to take a decision. So, see the title, the reimagining the role of Anganwadi worker in the context of NEP. I should also flag that as a continuation. I don't think NEP or NCF, National Education Policy, or the National Curricular Framework it anyway reimagine the role of Anganwadi in the per se in the document. Maybe again for its own reasons. In fact, I felt that they are not reimagining or redefining the role of Anganwadi itself. Leave the Anganwadi worker in the way ahead. I feel the NGOs, we need many more small NGOs to work in various locations in the state who will work with my Anganwadi for longer time. Not through online or not through giving some kind of a tool for after giving 1 hour training. I don't think that will. I have not seen it is working anywhere. I am from Kerala. My own batchmates working in the sector of training for ECCE training. I think we need to be more grounded. The last point is the continuing the focus on the Anganwadi worker. As Kaveri was saying, we need to have Anganwadi worker in all our discussions. When I joined the, I'm coming from Kerala where the teacher unions are much stronger than in Karnataka. I was under the impression that the teachers is a monolithic block and whatever teacher unions say, that is the opinion of all the teachers, which I realized probably after 6 months age. 1% of 60,000 is somewhat, I think, 600, isn't it? We need to identify 600 Anganwadi workers who will participate in this kind of deliberation as one of us. We need to walk with them, they need to walk with us. Then only probably the reimagining of their role in this entire intervention will be very successful. So these are the 10 points which I wanted to share with you. I just repeat the 10 points in the headings. Understanding the Anganwadis group better, both the data collection and probably more dipstick analysis. Then the education levels, how we are going to intervene in those things and what would be the time duration. What is the meaning of capacity building, how it can be a long-term sustained one. Then how we are going to address the vacancies, remuneration and the service condition, how we are going to address the workload, then the Anganwadi, the position of Anganwadi teachers vis-a-vis the other teachers. One thing I should add, one more thing. See, I feel when the HCF is out, when the state curricular framework is formalized, I feel there is lot of things going to happen in the private, unaided, aided schools. Now we see books like, NEP approved kind of a thing. Next year there will be SCF following pre-primary school, etc. So if we don't act now, there will be 2 groups of pre-primary teachers, one set of pre-primary teachers in the aided, unaided sector who may be seemingly more qualified, more dignified vis-a-vis the Anganwadi workers. So we need to probably think about how we are going to position the Anganwadi workers. Then how we are going to support the supervisors, the role of NGO, and continuing the focus on the Anganwadi workers. Last point is, one of my seniors told me when I joined the service, tinkering with the policy is like repairing an engine of a moving vehicle. Now, after 17 years of working in the government, now I feel it is more complicated. Tinkering the policy or working in the policy level, the amount of consensus we need to bring in is very challenging. Now, it is not only the moving vehicle, we have a lot of passengers in the vehicle, and the passengers have a very different stand. I mean, their destinations are different, their priority for speed is different, each one is having different opinion about the route the vehicle should go, and at the same time we need to repair the engine also. So the way ahead is to be probably more inclusive and kind of a holistic. But the point is, sooner we reach this consensus, we will be able to solve the issues. And this thing is very true with regard to the contested questions of ECCE. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was quite thought-provoking. It's a wonderful thing to learn from the minds of those who have labored long, hard and well. Thank you for giving us your precious time and giving us the priceless gems that you have uncovered over the years from your experience.